Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Welcome to our orientation summer series webinars. My name is Lincoln Till, and I'm the Assistant Director for Orientation here in the college. And today I'll be serving as the moderator for this webinar. Today's webinar is all about our College Academic Advising Office, and you'll learn more about what resources are available to you through that office, and then learning all about pre-registering for your autumn courting classes and what it's like working with your academic advisor. So just so you know, there is a Q&A box down at the bottom. So if you have any questions at any time, go ahead and drop them in the box and we will be answering them throughout. And then we'll have a time at the end where we'll also answer them live too for everybody to see. And yeah, with that, I will pass it on over to Kevin in our academic advising office.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for coming. As always, let me do a little dance to get my presentation shared with everyone. So just one quick second. All right, everyone, thank you so much for coming to our webinar, Introduction to Advising, Preparing for Your First Appointment. This is the second summer webinar from our College Academic Advising Office, and we are so happy that you're here. And so on behalf of all my colleagues in the office, I want to welcome you all. Before I begin, I would also like to introduce the three of us who will be involved in this webinar. My name is Kevin Collier, and with me are Debbie Coyle and Catherine McElravy. The three of us are all academic advisors here, and again, we're very glad for you to be with us. Today's presentation will offer an introduction to the College Academic Advising Office. First, we'll give you an overview of the role of your academic advisor, and then dive into what you can expect from your first summer appointment. We will review relevant academic advising resources, and then finally, we will review how you can prepare for your first meeting and walk through how you can schedule your appointment. During our presentation, our colleague Catherine will be moderating the chat function to review and respond to your questions, and then we'll also answer those out loud at the conclusion of our presentation. Please keep your questions to the topic of this webinar, and if you have other questions you'd like to ask the advising office, you can definitely feel free to email your advisor directly, or you can email our office at collegeadvising@uchicago.edu. And you can do that after the presentation. And then if time remains at the end, we will invite other questions at that time. But otherwise, feel free to email our office with your questions. And so now let's move into learning about what our academic advising office is and how we will work with you through your time here at UChicago. To start, the College Academic Advising Office, we support students from the summer prior starting college, now, all the way through to graduation. Academic advising is your main contact throughout your time here in the college. We provide all students with a low-stakes environment for you to meet with your advisor to ask crucial questions, discuss your academic goals, and how to proactively plan to meet to those goals, and then to take time to reflect on your diverse college experiences. We are your primary resource here throughout your time in the college, and we strongly value the advisor-student relationship. All college advisors in our office are generalists, and we can share insight on a wide variety of topics, from curriculum in the college to goal setting to campus policies and procedures, and there are plenty of them. Beyond an academic advisor, all you students have access to key contacts in your academic departments, and you are also matched with a career advisor upon matriculation to help you start planning and discussing how to plan for life after college. And then our advising office also runs an advisor on call program, which I will also discuss in a moment. And hey, this is our office. We are not just a building, we are people inside the building. All of us, we have a wide range of education backgrounds, interests, and experiences. So no matter what, we are able to serve you and your needs as you navigate college. You have already now been assigned your academic advisor, which you should see when you go to your student portal, which is called my.uchicago. This advisor you've been assigned is the one you'll work with during your time here in the college. Yesterday, you received a really exciting welcome email from them with information about them personally, as well as information and instructions about your summer meeting, which we will have a lot more to say about in our presentation. Then, really briefly, as I mentioned earlier, we have this thing called the Advisor on Call program, or we call AOC for short. This program allows students to meet with an academic advisor over Zoom for a quick same-day appointment. The advisor on call will likely not be your assigned advisor, but all advisors are trained and ready to help you out with your questions. So say when a situation comes up, you should always contact your academic advisor first, but there will definitely be instances where you have an urgent concern or your advisor might be unavailable or fully booked up that day. And so that's the great time for you to contact the advisor on call. You now have access to setting up those appointments. And then later on in this presentation, we'll go over how to use this system to schedule appointments.
So now that you know a bit about who we are and a little bit about the advisor on call, I'm going to tell you what advisors do here for you. So during your first year here in the college, advising will focus on your adjustment to college and planning for your future. You'll have these focused conversations during required meetings each quarter, starting with your summer meeting, this coming up meeting. In addition to the required first-year meetings, students can also get in touch with their advisor over email or through scheduling additional meetings as needed throughout the year. Your advisor will support you in a variety of ways, including helping you determine an academic path towards graduation requirements that best suits your unique interests and needs, helping you choose the core and major classes that make the most sense for your unique path. Helping you find that path will often involve asking you thoughtful questions and presenting possible options, as well as directing you to resources outside of our office. Advisors are highly skilled in navigating university resources and have in-depth knowledge of the college catalog, the core curriculum, and graduation requirements. They're familiar with policies and procedures you may have questions about, and will often remind you of important upcoming academic deadlines. One example of when you might want to speak with your advisor is when you're struggling in a class. The quarter system moves very quickly, so it's important to let your advisor know as soon as possible when a class isn't going as well as you'd hoped. We can talk you through how to have a conversation with your professor, recommend approaches such as attending office hours or visiting the core tutors, or, if need be, talk you through the options for taking the class pass-fail, taking an incomplete, or withdrawing from the class altogether. There are almost always multiple paths forward when you run into challenges, and your advisor is someone who can help you explore each of those paths and their implications. Another example of when you may want to speak with your advisor is when you want help finding out what you're interested in studying. Maybe you have too many interests, or maybe your interests continue to grow and change as you take various classes. Your advisor would be a great person to have an open-ended conversation with. They'll give you the time to share about your experiences and ideas, and they'll ask you questions to help you reflect deeper on what you're doing. Your advisor might also direct you to a faculty member who can talk with you about their department so you get a deeper perspective. All in all, our main priority is to create an open and accepting space for you to ask questions, explore interests, and raise concerns you may have during your time. Having spoken about the role of the academic advisor, I'd now like to say a little bit about your role in this advising relationship. To start, your relationship with your advisor is fundamentally collaborative. That means you, the student, have responsibilities, and you need to take initiative to fulfill those responsibilities. You've already started fulfilling those responsibilities by doing things like submitting test scores and completing placement exams. If you haven't done those, please do them right away. But your responsibilities go beyond that. You are the one who needs to know and track the requirements for your degree program. You're the one who communicates with your professors when you have questions. Often your advisor will direct you to a faculty or staff member when you have questions, and it will be up to you to follow that directive. And I cannot stress this enough, check your email early and often. It's the Chicago way. You'll receive important information from your advisor and the college, so check your email. And by check your email, we mean actually read your email frequently. So at times, the university may seem like a complicated place to navigate, but our office works closely with a variety of departments around the university to provide students with holistic support during their college experience. Advisors are very experienced in helping students who may feel unsure of who to contact or how to proceed, and our office is a really great starting point if you are unsure about where to go for support. While we may not always have the answer, we almost always will know the person who does have that answer and can point you in their direction. One example of such a situation would be if you're experiencing a personal or family challenge that makes it difficult to be successful in class or is holding you back from making meaningful connections to your campus community. Your advisor can help connect you with the appropriate campus office that can help you process the concern and find solutions to your challenges. This includes offices such as student wellness for medical or mental health support, financial aid to discuss specific aid packages or financial concerns, or even housing and residence life if your concern has to do with your living arrangement. The advisors are equipped to identify and connect the right supportive resource for a variety of issues, even those outside of planning courses and degree requirements. So we've learned about college advising, what an academic advisor do to help. So now we're going to start reviewing the ways you can prepare for your first advising meeting. Your academic advisor was assigned yesterday, and you can now see their name and email in your student portal. You should have already received a welcome email from your assigned advisor with an introduction and directions on how to schedule these appointments. You now have the opportunity to schedule your summer meeting with your academic advisor. This means these meetings should be held between July 21st and August 15th. However, due to some summer scheduling, some students may begin meeting with their advisors as early as July 15th. You will see their available dates when you enter the scheduling portal, which we'll describe in just a moment. This meeting is required so we can best prepare you for your autumn quarter. This will be your first opportunity to begin building your relationship with your advisor. In the meeting, you and your advisor will discuss your interests, values, and clarify your educational, career, and personal goals. Much of the conversation will build off the responses of your summer meeting questionnaire, which you will be directed to when you schedule your summer appointment. The questionnaire will include a place to list your AP and IB scores, placement exams you've taken, and majors you'd like to pursue at UChicago. Based on these responses, you and your advisor will identify which autumn courses are ideal for you. We will review which classes to bid on during the pre-registration process for your autumn schedule. Because we'll cover a lot of important information in your summer meeting, please keep the following things in mind as you prepare. Set aside a minimum of 15 minutes to book your summer appointment, as you will be required to complete the questionnaire when scheduling. Make sure to give yourself time to answer the prompts fully and thoughtfully. Be prepared to discuss your interests, values, educational and personal goals in this meeting. We'd like to learn more about you and ways advising can support your college journey. Please arrive on time and prepared to engage in at least a 30-minute conversation. All meetings are held in Central Time, so please set the necessary reminders so that you arrive on time. Okay, before the meeting, you can also watch the Introduction to the College Core Curriculum webinar to get familiar with the core curriculum. Please complete the Planning Your Path Through the Core form to consider which classes within the College Core might be the best fit for you with your academic interests. Practice navigating the college catalog. You will use this website a lot during your time at UChicago, so it's very helpful to get acquainted with degree requirements. Once again, please continue to check your UChicago email account regularly for university communications, including messages from your academic advisor.
Thanks, Debbie. So the college catalog, let's get into it. So the catalog is one of the most important tools you will use during your time here at UChicago. It may feel overwhelming, and it definitely will feel overwhelming for you at first. But thankfully, you have your academic advisor here to help you get guided through the way you navigate this amazing document. A few key elements to familiarize yourself with are the pages on the curriculum, which details requirements to earn your degree, as well as individual pages for the core curriculum. So sections for math, physical science, biology, etc. The program of study pages will bring you to each specific area of study and their requirements. I really strongly suggest you create a bookmark folder on your browser for any pages that are relevant to you and your interests. When you're navigating the catalog, pay special attention to the academic regulations and procedures. This is vitally important information for all UChicago students to know. And the catalog, again, is a hub for all university policies, so your advisor will certainly refer to it often when you have questions. And so now I want to get into the catalog a little bit more just so we can get familiar with what it looks like and how it functions. And so now I want to look at two different majors. So when you go to the catalog and you choose the programs of study option, you'll be then to view in a long list all of the majors offered in the college. So for this first example, I've selected astrophysics. After clicking on that specific major, the top of the page will display a sort of table of contents, which is shown on the top left of this slide. I then chose the option Summary of Requirements for the BA in Astrophysics, which is highlighted in yellow. And that takes you to this helpful chart listing the requirements for this major. I apologize, that should say BA in Astrophysics, not BS, but regardless. You can see about this major that is very precise in that there are very specific courses that all students have to take to complete this major, including specific core classes for math and physics. And then at the very bottom of this list, you will see that the major has a total of 1,600 units or 16 classes that are required to complete this major. So it's nice when you're thinking about different majors, you might just want to say, well, how big are they? And that might help you with your planning in terms of how many classes you may need to be taking for your different majors and goals. And then additionally, staying on the astrophysics page, the table of contents has an option for you to view the list of classes offered by the astrophysics department. That's been highlighted here in green. Like the class shown here on the bottom of the slide, all classes have a set code and title. So this one, Astro 211, Computational Techniques in Astrophysics. And then below that, there's a description of the course. This description is helpful in that it tells you what the class will cover and perhaps the different technologies or topics that are involved. The bottom section gives information on when the class is expected to be offered, potential instructors, as well as any prerequisites that you should be aware of before you want to take the class. And then for our second example of the major, this is cinema and media studies. You can see that from the listing on the left that this major is only 1,200 units or 12 courses long. And that of the requirements for this major, 7 of the classes are electives. So that means that this major gives students much more flexibility in choosing the specific courses they want to fulfill the requirements for this major. To the right on the slide is a description of one of the required courses for the major, much like the astrophysics course. And the description in the course describes the topics that you'll be engaging with in the course, along with specific filmmakers. So it seems like a good time. I hope that this really quick look into the catalog and some of the majors will help inspire you all to look into the catalog and start exploring different majors or programs. Even if you maybe already have in mind a very specific major or field of study, it's definitely worth your time to keep looking, being curious about what UChicago has to offer and how you can really make the most of your time here. Then moving on to talk about Canvas. The Academic Advising Canvas page is another very important resource for you to familiarize yourself with. Canvas is a hub for a variety of important resources. And it's much like the catalog in the respect that your advisor will refer to it often with you in your first year, especially. On the right, you'll see the overview page, which is going to be your main hub. On this page, you'll find links to important things like the catalog, our scheduling page, and a link to the most recent advising module. This quick link section and the rest of the page will be regularly updated through the academic year, so definitely check it regularly. You also find dates for registration and deadlines, academic breaks, and other important dates. There are many features on the Canvas page, but we also wanted to highlight some useful ones that your advisor will direct you to. The UChicago Resource Hub has links to useful information about academics, support and resources, and the UChicago and the broader Hyde Park community, as well as organizations and offices that you may wish to connect with. This page that I've shown here includes both a summary of the resource on Canvas in the left-hand column, and then a link to their specific websites on the right. Then the first thing that you should do when you're ready to schedule this great first advising appointment this summer is, again, to log onto Canvas and to fill out your first advising questionnaire and then schedule your first appointment with your advisor. When you log onto Canvas and you scroll to the quick links section of the overview page, once you're there, you can click on the summer modules link to fill out your questionnaire. And again, as we've been saying, please be sure to give yourself at least 15 minutes to fill out the questionnaire in detail. And be sure to include also any questions that you may have so your advisor can review those information before the meeting. Once the form is completed, you'll follow the schedule appointment link to move to the college scheduling site. Then looking forward, there will be questionnaires prior to your required meetings with your advisor in autumn, winter, and spring. This scheduling and questionnaire process will be the same for each quarter, but each quarter the links will be updated for a new module for you to review.
Great. So now let's take a look at exactly how you'll schedule these appointments with your advisor. So now you have officially been assigned an academic advisor. You can schedule your summer appointment through the booking portal at collegescheduling.uchicago.edu. Once on the landing page, make sure to select 2025 Summer Advising, which is for incoming first year and transfer students only. The booking process itself is quick and easy, but all first year and transfer students will be required to complete a pre-meeting questionnaire on Canvas, which we've already described, and this will be released after this webinar. Please plan to set aside, as we've said, 10 to 15 minutes to complete this questionnaire intentionally, rather than just kind of rushing through the process. Completing the questionnaire in a timely manner will allow your advisor time to conduct a useful and holistic meeting. So when you have clicked on the Schedule a Summer Advising Appointment link, on the college scheduling site, you'll be taken to a page with your name at the top and a button with your advisor's name auto-populated below. Make sure that you select the Summer Advising option, then click on your advisor's name, which will bring you to a page with their availability. On this page, you'll view available days and times and be able to make a selection that works best for you. Only appointments 16 hours or more in the future will be available. Remember, all appointments are held in Central Time Zone, so please consider any conversion to your local time zone as needed. After clicking the day and time that works for you, you'll be directed to a final page. Here's where you can confirm the best number to receive text reminders, and you'll be prompted to complete the pre-meeting questionnaire as well. Just hit Submit Reservation and you're all done. Easy peasy. Your summer meeting is just a starting point for your relationship with your advisor. You'll also have a group meeting with your advisor during orientation. You'll meet with them once a quarter throughout the first year, and you'll have the opportunity to meet with them virtually or in person as new concerns or questions or conversations arise. Okay, so before we move on to any questions that you may have or any questions that are in the chat, I'd like to highlight some important upcoming dates. First, as a reminder, you can now book your summer advising appointment for a date between July 21st and August 17th. Again, some advisors will have availability as early as July 15th. Placement exams for math, chemistry, and languages through the Canvas portal should be completed prior to your individual advising meeting. If you have issues with any of the placement exams or need an exam reset, please reach out to your academic advisor. On August 14th, the College Academic Advising Office will present a pre-registration tutorial webinar, which is a really helpful way to walk through the pre-registration process for course selection for your autumn courses. The pre-registration period itself for autumn quarter will take place from August 18th to the 22nd. This process is not time sensitive. You may pre-register anytime during this week. The time you pre-register has no impact on your pre-registration results. While it's not time sensitive, it's a good idea to start earlier in the week, so you have more time to prepare. So with all of that, we will now open the webinar to answer some of your questions. Let's check in with Catherine, our chat moderator.
Yeah, all right. So there is a question I will answer live. And this question is, when I click summer advising, my advisor's name doesn't show up and it says no appointments available. So if you seem to be running into some tech issues with accessing this, no worries. What we would recommend is just emailing your academic advisor directly. And then you and your academic advisor can troubleshoot what might be occurring and making sure you can get that summer appointment scheduled. So yep, so you can follow that process, and appointments should be available now. So if anything, yeah, feel free to email your academic advisor. You received the welcome email from them yesterday, so feel free to either just respond to that or send them a new email. In terms of other, let's see, in that welcome email, I see there's a question on where we can access the College Advising Canvas page. There will be a link to the Canvas page in that initial welcome email, so you can also access it there too. And if you have any issues finding it or navigating it, we're here to help within the advising office, so feel free to email your advisor directly and we'd be more than happy to assist with this. Um, yeah, Debbie, Kevin, are there any you want to jump in on, or let's see.
So I am not seeing any questions, Catherine.
Oh,
I'm happy to jump in on some
okay, no problem. That's fine. Let's
Oh, I'm sorry, I do
see
see them now, yes.
what else. So
I can
the
take
place.
one.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Yeah, I'll jump in on the one about whether or not students get additional major advisors once they declare a major. And I know that is a standard practice at many universities and colleges in the US. But with this, with our advising model here at UChicago, you will stay with an assigned academic advisor from the College Academic Advising Office. We all are generalists and we navigate every major within the college. So each of us has students who are majoring in varieties of fields, double majors or so forth. So you would not need to change your primary academic advisor. That said, however, each department does have a director of undergraduate studies who may also provide some guidance for some of our majors. It's a kind of a requirement that you meet with them to build a major worksheet plan, but that's something that will happen later in your time here, certainly not until after the first year, but you'll stay with us, so great question.
I have a very interesting question that I noted from someone. The question is, how would an academic advisor help a student who is confused between what major they should take or majors that are very different fields? I wasn't sure if either Debbie or Catherine had any thoughts on this. I have a lot of thoughts, but yeah, this is a real, very advising question in the best sense.
Go for it.
Well, I guess maybe the first thing that we like to think about is we want to, when we're, I guess let's talk most specifically about like autumn quarter. We want to try to get you into the ideal classes that would best enable you to go in the different directions you might be hoping. So, for example, maybe you're thinking about creative writing and biology. Very common combination here, actually. And so we're thinking, well, then maybe you need to start with some of the crucial math and biology courses that are required for the major, as well as, you're going to be starting with calculus most likely for your math core, and then of course humanities in your autumn quarter. And so we want to kind of start you down this, solid path. And so then, perhaps maybe you change your mind and say, no, I don't really want to do biology anymore. I really want to go into, oh gosh, public policy, for example. And so the one thing we try to juggle is what are the different requirements for different majors? Which ones are harder to maybe move into later than others? And so that's just a few very scattered thoughts that I have on that.
Those are great thoughts.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. And then I see that there's a question on, are the placement results for chemistry non-math subjects out? So first, I guess maybe to backtrack a little bit, given that you have already taken the placement exam results, you will be able to start discussing those with your academic advisor once summer meetings start on the 21st. So once you begin your summer meetings, you'll have access to your placement results on the 21st. And then you can have conversations with your academic advisor about, should I take this math class, or is this physics, what should I do about this? And then you'll be able to think through what is the best path for you, depending on your major and interests here too.
There's a question in here I'd like to address, and the question was to do with the section of the questionnaire that asks about skills. What skills do you have and what subjects do you enjoy? Should first-year students complete those before entering their summer appointment meeting? My answer is an emphatic yes. This is exactly what we're describing when we say to really give this questionnaire some thoughtful, intentional response. What's helpful for your advisor in your first meeting is going to be the information about what you enjoy and what prior skills you're bringing with you to UChicago. Remember, this is a safe environment where you can process through what your skills are and what your interests are. What do you want to know more about? And what's your big question? What motivates you to come? So all of those things are really helpful for us, and it might guide the recommendations that we would make for potential coursework here in the first quarter as you're sort of getting used to the routines of UChicago, or even spark conversation about majors or minors, RSOs, which are the registered student organizations, things like that. So definitely please take the time to put that kind of information on that questionnaire. Thank you for that question.
Another quick question I see someone's asking, is it okay if the intended major I listed when I applied is different from the major I want now? Yes, it is. That is certainly not binding. And even during your time here, students often will change majors and or minors, take up new ones, and there's certainly no harm in changing anything. That is part of the life cycle of the UChicago student. So not a worry there.
I would love to address the
I
question. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Debbie. I was going to clarify something that came up in the chat too of what does bid on a course during registration mean? That is definitely a term we throw around, so it's great that we're taking the time to really dissect that. And we use a process within the registration enrollment period where students will be ranking courses. So through that ranking process, that will more or less be like a bid where you're maybe saying, I really want to take Bio 101 30, and I'm bidding on this so that I will have a chance of getting into that course. So that's some of the language we use surrounding pre-registration. So you might hear that thrown around, but yeah, great question.
I'm seeing other questions about where can I find the autumn schedule for classes, as well as questions about course reviews, or what we call them here, course evaluations. So those are located in the same place. So if you go into your My UChicago portal, after logging in, there's an option on the right side where it says My Classes, I believe is what it's called. And then that is where you can view all of the available classes being offered, and you can break that down by individual quarters as well. And so then when you go and you look up a specific class in My Classes, you can then go in, should be an option for you to view the course evaluations, and that will take you to another separate page. So your advisor that's something your advisor can individually discuss with you, but that's very quickly how you can access that. But that is all viewable. Wonderful question, by the way.
This is all great. There's one I'd like to take that's, if we are pre-med, do we have specific different advisors that give advice as to which med schools to apply to or how to strengthen our application? And that's really great to be thinking about that. We have a robust careers and healthcare office in our career advancement office. They do incredible work. There's amazing information on the website about specific coursework to take if you're planning to take the MCAT, if you're planning to apply to medical school. In addition, there's a very helpful webinar that's coming up yet this week on Thursday. So if you are interested in getting more information about how that office can work to support you alongside your academic advisor, who also will provide guidance and support, please consider attending that seminar as well, or webinar, I guess.
Okay, I've also been typing out some questions too. Let's see. And some of these questions are really great and also will be a great jumping off point for when you meet with your advisor too, of really getting to dive in deep into some of these like math questions or questions about Hume or anything like that. So, but if anything, during your first year summer meeting, you will have the opportunity to, talk through like what RSOs you might like to join, or what are certain communities, groups on campus that you would really love to connect with too. So we can definitely have conversations surrounding where to go to, which websites to navigate, how you can learn more about this, and even some upcoming events in autumn quarter too. We have a really great RSO fair, so you can go to different tables and hear more about different organizations we have on campus.
So there are a couple of questions to do with registration process. And when you meet with your assigned advisor for your summer advising session, you'll talk a little bit more in depth about this. The question is, we're talking about pre-registration. When is actual registration and what is the difference? And that's a really great question. Lots of questions surrounding registration. So I would want to take a second to talk about that. The pre-registration that we're describing is an opportunity to rank the courses that you're interested in taking in your order of preference. It is not first come, first serve. As I said, that week of pre-registration is not time sensitive, and getting everything in first minute when it opens is not going to guarantee you a spot in the course. It's a pretty equitable way to, it's kind of a lottery system, a way to get students into coursework. First and second year students are prioritized for core classes, and so that's kind of a nice bonus there to help make sure that you can get into those foundational courses that will suit your development as you continue on at UChicago. However, that's not the only step in registration. So the pre-registration piece is almost like taking a pot of spaghetti and throwing it against the wall to see what sticks. Then we go back during the add drop period, and for you all that will begin once you're here on campus and once classes start. During add drop, you can go in and make changes to your schedule. You can add into a class that maybe meets at a different time, but work very closely with your advisor, particularly this first autumn, until it becomes a little bit more comfortable for you. So you will have more opportunity to make changes, particularly in subsequent quarters. But for this very first time, the very first process will be the pre-registration, followed by add drop, which opens once you begin your classes. And then once you meet with your academic advisor for your autumn conference, there you'll learn about how to do registration from that point forward. So it is a little bit different process once you're a continuing student and not an entering first-time student.
Okay, I also see a question on, is it typical to get classes you've been on, or do students typically have to wait a few quarters? I will first highlight that we have another webinar on August 14th, all about pre-registration. So highly, highly recommend marking your calendars, attending that event. We will be going over some of the tips and tricks within this process. Of course, you know, with any class, there are some really popular classes, but it's great to then talk with your advisor about what you're really thinking of, what's really important for you to take in your first year, and we'll make sure that we can find a path forward for that. So if anything, definitely mark your calendars for August 14th pre-registration webinar.
Well, before I turn it back over to Lincoln for concluding our session, I again just want to thank everyone again for attending. And in closing, I would encourage you all to follow our office on Instagram. We share useful information and reminders there, and maybe some memes and fun pictures from time to time. And I want to again remind you all that now is the time you can start scheduling your meetings with your advisor. Again, I want to reiterate the dates between July 21st and August 15th for holding that meeting. And again, some advisors may have earlier appointments starting perhaps tomorrow. And so again, on behalf of everyone in our advising office, I want to thank you for coming today. We look forward to meeting with you in person over Zoom in the coming weeks.
Awesome. Thank you so much to the advising office for sharing all of that information with us. If you have any further questions, like they've mentioned, feel free to reach out to them. Their email is listed there. Our advisors love to chat with our students and get them what they need. And yeah, in the meantime, we have a bunch of other webinars coming up, so feel free to check out our summer webinar series website so you can see what we have and register for those. And just a reminder, this webinar is recorded, so it will be available on our website as well, so you can reference it if you would like to watch it again, or if there are specific questions you remember and want to go back and listen to that answer again. And with all that, I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and we'll hopefully see you in the next one.
Thanks.